Hello and a very warm welcome to Meghan and Harry News YouTube channel. This is how the media really works is the title of this video. We have a clip of a journalist talking about how her bosses tried to manipulate her into writing negative stories on Meghan. It's a clip from a year or so ago, but it's worth revisiting with all of the fallout that is happening at the moment, and I'll show you that clip in a minute. While the firm are colluding with the toxic media, dreaming up elaborate stories to paint Meghan and Harry in whatever negative story they have dreamed up for today, while they are up to their usual skullduggery, Meghan and Harry are busy making announcements about supporting charities. In an announcement on their Archwell website, they announced their support of Equimundo. In an announcement on their Archwell website, it was confirmed that the organisation had supported Equimundo, a charity that aims to engage men and boys as allies in gender equality, in releasing a new report. This report found a growing proportion of men assisting in childcare duties across the 17 countries that it surveyed. Summarising the report, which can be read in full here, Archwell wrote, "The 2023 data shows that men are increasingly involved in caregiving and would like to increase their care work at home. Although deeply ingrained social norms and lack of supportive policies and power structures discourage them from doing so. The report recognises care work as the bedrock of society and calls for continued advancements towards gender equality. It also emphasises the need for media representation that normalises men's caregiving roles." The news comes just weeks ahead of the Duchess of Sussex's 42nd birthday. Now, here is that clip of a journalist talking about how when she was working at a tabloid, she had her arm twisted, or how they tried to persuade by her boss to write negative nonsense about Meghan, irrespective of the truth.
A journalist about how the media inflames this. I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is, it's sort of
got the topless girl on page 3. That's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family and the arguments between Meghan and Kate. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is being, the flames are being fanned by the media.
You've heard the phrase cottage industry, this is a palace industry. Yes.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Meghan and Harry News YouTube channel. So, Byline Times have released more information in regards to Dan Wootton, one of the main presenters who attacked Meghan and Harry constantly, and as mentioned earlier, has connections with the firm. Here we see Dan Wootton was a serial bully at The Sun, but bosses promoted him as complaints were silenced. So, this has all the hallmarks of someone who is protected by the establishment. We won't go into all the sordid details of this allegations. I'll leave a link to the second part of the article below in the comments and description, but what interests me is the links to the firm. As someone said on social media, why is every scandal in the UK tabloid press always lead to the royal family? Byline Times have been talking to quite a few people behind the scenes, it says here. Byline Times have now spoken to multiple former editorial and support staff at Britain's biggest tabloid, many of whom are fearful of being identified after their experiences working at Murdoch-owned News UK, which, with one left suicidal, another suffering stress-induced hair loss, and others deserting the industry. If you read the article, it is a long list of people who have been affected by Wootton, but what is interesting is this connection mentioned here. It says, the list of complaints about Wootton did not stop News UK from promoting him and giving him pay rises, and even more prominent positions at the newspaper. But he had a decisive falling out with the current editor, Victoria Newton. In February 2020, on her first day in the role, Wootton left Newton furious by demanding she promote him, prompting a cute move by the new editor, who reached out to Wootton's best remaining royal contact and placed them on a special retainer, ensuring that they dealt exclusively with her. A source said this was the beginning of the end for Dan at The Sun. He didn't like having the same move pulled on him that he had done to so many other contacts of other people. Now, who is Victoria Newton, who he fell out with, and who stole his best remaining royal contact? Which means someone you pay money for information. Well, this is Victoria Newton here with Charles, and interestingly enough, it was Sun editor Victoria Newton that was picked to spend the day with him, his last day as the Prince of Wales. And wasn't it Victoria Newton, the same editor who passed Jeremy Clarkson's vile, misogynist article about Meghan Markle, resulting in a record number of complaints to Ofcom? Yes, it is. It is the same Victoria Newton. As already stated, why is every scandal in the UK tabloid press always lead to the royal family? Latest nonsense flying around the tabloids is the Air Force One. Every day there seems to be some silly thing that is pushed around these toxic media platforms, all manufactured and designed to make Meghan and Harry look bad and try to get the public to dislike them. This week we have had the ridiculous story of Meghan bringing a dog to a farmer's market. Now they are talking about them asking to use Air Force One. Here we see Prince Harry and Meghan weren't allowed to fly Air Force One with Biden after Queen's funeral, report says. Duke and Duchess of Sussex reportedly requested a ride back to US aboard Air Force One after Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in September. Notice it says reportedly. Who reported this? The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were reportedly denied their request to fly back to the United States with President Joe Biden on Air Force One after the funeral of the late Queen Elizabeth II. According to a new report from the Daily Mail, this is the same Daily Mail that Meghan has taken to court, the same Daily Mail that spearheads the daily smear campaign against Meghan and Harry, with reporting that has been proven to be illegal, the same Daily Mail that had to award Meghan $1 million for their illegal invasion of privacy, the same Daily Mail who were ordered to carry front page and homepage declarations of apologies due to them invading their privacy. Yet that same Daily Mail now making these claims. I wonder if they have a name associated with these allegations. It continues, sources claim that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's request to accompany the president back to the US in September 2022 was a non-starter and there was barely any discussion about the request. It would have caused such a commotion, another source alleged to the outlet. It would have strained relations with the palace and the new king. So these reports are coming from sources, and from a look so far, they are unnamed ones, anonymous sources, the same old anonymous sources that have told endless lies in the past, in countless stories across numerous media platforms. Then the article continues to talk about Meghan and Harry's connection to the Bidens, and introduces something about the Invictus Games. This is done to confuse matters for the reader so that they don't focus on the fact that the initial allegations come from complete anonymous sources and are most probably completely fabricated. Both the Sussexes, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, attended the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II on 19th of September. The late monarch's state funeral gathered together hundreds of world leaders, diplomats and international royals at Westminster Abbey in London. Months earlier, First Lady Jill Biden was reportedly invited to attend Prince Harry's Invictus Games, which were held in the Netherlands in April 2022. However, the college professor allegedly declined the invitation amid concerns that the royal family would have been offended by her presence there. She wanted to go, a source claimed to the Daily Mail, alleging that British officials conveyed to National Security Council staff that they thought the idea to attend the games would land badly with Buckingham Palace. This is your typical strategy when reporting an incident claimed by an anonymous source. This will include other stories to pad it out and to muddy the waters of the story, so that you don't focus on the fact that this is a completely unsubstantiated claim from someone who is not named, from one of many tabloids who do this over and over again, only to be shown later on down the line that what they have said and the anonymous insider is completely fabricated. Let me know your opinion down in the comments below.